You guys are so chill.
Yeah.
It's weird.
Yeah, I mean, when you've done the work, when you kind of get to the show day and you know that you've done everything you needed to do, you haven't skipped a beat, you haven't cheated on your diet, you haven't missed cardio sessions, you haven't missed workouts, and you've just fucking done everything.
Yeah.
There's nothing to stress about.
That's a good point.
Like, the work's done at this point. You can't, you know, there's nothing you're going to do that's going to ruin your physique. There's nothing you're going to do that's going to make your physique look incredibly different. It is what it is, and the last thing to do is enjoy the pinnacle of everything that's gone into this prep. You know, the 15 weeks of work, the 20 weeks of work, for me, the 56 weeks of work that's got to get to this point. So like, there's literally nothing to stress about. Just enjoy it.
That's it.
Coffee. This is the secret to getting dry before a show. Italian style macchinetta stovetop coffee. You heard it here first. First meal of show day, about to go down. Real simple. I have 1 scoop of whey ripped sludge in here. I have a tablespoon of almond butter mixed in with the sludge. Very small amount of water, obviously. And then I've got 6 thin rice cakes. So the goal from now until I step on stage is to keep my waist as tight as possible. So in terms of food, this will pretty much be the only protein that I have. And then from here on out, it's just going to be as required. Rice cakes, almond butter. Rice cakes, almond butter. And probably not even that much almond butter, mainly just rice cakes. And it's really like, I'm where I need to be physically. The glycogen is there, I'm full, I'm tight. So really what the food situation is about today, it's not trying to, you know, tighten anything or fill anything up. Like, it's too late, it's done. This is what it is. It's about making sure that I don't bloat through the midsection, so I can really be nice and tight as I'm going through my poses on stage and really suck the waist in, sit down on my abs and make that look really nice and tight and impressive, but at the same time not being completely starving. So, you know, if I'm feeling a little bit hungry from time to time, I have some rice cakes, have a very small amount of water. I'm still trying to limit my fluid intake, obviously. So that's this meal. Macros for this meal, about 30 grams of carbs, about 10 grams of fat and 30 grams of protein. And then I've got half a black coffee in here as well. I need to have my coffee in the morning. So that doesn't change on show day, just a little bit less than I normally have, obviously, from a fluid perspective. So meal number 1, it's just gone 7 a.m., so a little bit later than normal, but we had check-ins and whatnot this morning. So this meal is gonna go down right now. And here we go. This is, where do I begin? All right, we've got a couple of things going on here. The first is part of what I'm going to be using backstage to pump up. So I've got my pre-workout pump up sup. So I'm going to go Core Fury and Core Pump. You guys know that this is one of my favorite pre-workout stacks, so I don't want to change anything, throw anything new in the mix there. So I'm going to do a scoop of Fury and a scoop of Pump just before I start pumping up as like my pre-workout pump up. I've then got some bits and pieces if I need them backstage. So Jake has told me to grab some almond butter for some fats, obviously some honey for some fast acting carbs, then some salt and vinegar chips, some original rice cakes in there as well, and there was hiding under here, this one, some other salt and vinegar rice cakes. So if I need those backstage, I'll use them. I probably won't, to be honest. I think it's just going to be straight pre-workout because the carbs are already in. But that's that, and then everything else is once I come off stage. So what do we got here? We got my good man Dan Lorenzu from Ghost has sent me some yet to be released in Australia yet Ghost Energy in the Sour Patch Red Berry flavor, so I'm super excited about that. Reese's Puffs, Oreo O's, and then we get into all the fun shit. So let's start at the front here. I'm a big white chocolate fan, by the way, so you're gonna see a theme here. So white chocolate Snickers, caramel Pokey Pokey, caramel gold, caramel flavor, Aero, white chocolate and raspberry bullets Darrelly, white chocolate speckle balls, chocolate honeycomb balls, white chocolate Ritter Sport with whole hazelnuts. This shit is absolutely unreal. 12 in there. These are, man, words cannot explain. They're caramel flavored violet crumble. So white chocolate, caramel white chocolate on the outside, honeycomb on the inside. I've got some salty caramel macadamia chocolate in here. I've got a couple of different types of cookies. So white chocolate cranberry in there, and then triple chocolate cookies in there. And then finally I've got a little bit of coconut water just to help me rehydrate. As you guys know, I'm keeping the water kind of lean, which means the hydration is going to be kind of lean, so that'll go down. I'm not sure which will go first, that or the Ghost Energy. Probably should be this, but we'll see how we go. So my eyes are bigger than my stomach because obviously I'm not going to be able to eat all of this, but I've got a lot of different bits and pieces that I can sample post-competition, post-stage. So super excited. I'm excited to get some good food in, to get some treat food in. You know, a little bit of sugary stuff, a little bit of fat-loaded stuff. It's gonna be good fun. It's gonna be good fun.
bittersweet. Bittersweet is probably the best way to put it. I was sure I fucking had that. As I was on stage, as I was posing, as they moved me to the side, they moved me back to the center, they moved guys around me, they kept me in the center. I'm hitting my poses, the guys next to me are not hitting their poses. I'm the first one into the pose, I'm the last one out of the pose. You know, to be completely honest, I'm just very disappointed with the result. I really think that that I had that, and that I should have had that. But this is the sport, right? That's the way the cookie crumbles sometimes. So you gotta anchor back into your controllables, right? Actions, responses, effort, attitude, and you can never control the judge's decision. You can never control what those people sitting on the panel decide is what they're looking for in the day. So there's nothing I can do about it, right? It is what it is. So far as my controllables, my actions, I did everything I possibly could. My responses, everything that was thrown at me, I made the most of every challenging situation that I possibly could and turned it into a positive. My effort, man, I couldn't have given anything more to this prep. I could not have put any more in 100%. And then my attitude, I mean, you guys have seen the last few days, I'm just so fucking happy and so fucking grateful. And you know, as disappointed as I am now, and as important as it is that I sit with the disappointment, I can't just brush that shit off and go, you know what, doesn't matter, you know, third place, pro debut, fantastic. No, motherfucker, I should have won that show. And I'm allowed to be disappointed about it, and I will be disappointed about it. And I need to sit with that. But it'll dissipate, you know, I'll come to terms with it, I'll accept it, and then I'll get back to, look at me, I'm still fucking smiling. I can't be that disappointed. Yeah, but very, very bittersweet. I really, you know, I was looking forward to winning today and to getting that Olympic qualification, but it wasn't meant to be. Only good things happen for me. I'm sure I'll look back on this in the future and go, I know why it happened the way it did. It all makes perfect sense. So that's a wrap. That's it. Show's done. Pro debut is done. Finally made it. 56 weeks of prep over 3 preps. Finally got to step on a pro stage. Placed in my first pro debut. Best ever physique I presented to the stage. Best ever condition I presented to the stage. And that's why it's bittersweet. The bitter, placing third instead of placing first and getting an Olympic qualification. The sweet, everything positive that has come out of this. So, we're gonna eat some food and drink some water.
I was born to.
And here we are, 3 weeks post-show, back here at Massive Joe's headquarters in one of our filming studios. I wanted to close this video off like this because there's a couple of things that I want to share with you guys. The first one is to preempt the question that I know I'm going to be getting in the comments. It's a question I've been getting, literally got this question less than a minute from stepping off stage at my pro debut, and I've got it consistently pretty much every day for the last 3 weeks. And that question is, what's next? You know, what am I doing next? To be honest with you guys, I toyed around immediately post-show with the idea of traveling, particularly to the US and doing some shows over there. In particular, Pittsburgh Pro was something that I considered, but I gave it some real thought, and I think my competitive goal before my pro debut was to make it to the Olympia. That was my next stepping stone as a pro men's physique athlete, and obviously I went into that show wanting to win that show, and that was going to be my path to the Olympia. And I think seeing how much my physique has progressed since I turned pro. Watching the videos back and seeing the photos back and the physique that I presented on stage in my pro debut, I had some really good discussions with a couple of the head judges post-show, getting their feedback. And I think it really inspired me and gave me the confidence to set my personal bar even a little bit higher. So for me now, it's not just about qualifying for the Olympia. It's about, you know what, can I place top 6 at the Olympia? Can I be in that mix of the best men's physique athletes on the planet? And I think I can, but I'm not there yet. So with that in mind, I was like, well, you know, I could keep going, you know, I could get enough points, I could perhaps win a show over in the US, I could do what I need to do to qualify for the Olympia and make it to the Olympia at the end of 2022, but my physique's not going to change much from where it is. I'm going to present a very similar physique at the Olympia. Is that physique a top 6 Olympia physique? The answer to that question is no. So with that in mind, I need to go back to the drawing board. I need to bring up my weaknesses. I need to work on capping out my shoulders, increasing my upper arm size, more upper chest, and just continuing to develop my physique to a point where it is a top 6 Olympia physique. And that's the goal now. That's where I'm heading now. So to answer the question, what's next? I've been reversing out of my contest prep the last 3 weeks, and I'll continue to do that until I'm back to, you know, pretty much where I started with my caloric intake and the amount of cardio I'm doing. And then it's improvement season. Then it's about, you know, making those physical improvements that I need to make, refining my physique, and I'll do that for as long as it takes. But at the moment, my intention is to compete at the start of 2023 with a far improved physique. I'll do the Australian Pro Show once again. I'll probably schedule to do some shows in the US. I'd love to do the Pittsburgh Pro. I'd love to do the New York Pro. It just depends how the timing kind of works at the start of next year. But that'll be my next crack at it. That'll be my next bite at the cherry. So for now, what's next? Completely reverse out of the prep, get healthy again. You know, there's no point sugarcoating it. Competing, prepping for a show, getting on stage is not healthy. You know, the last 4 to 6 weeks is definitely not healthy. You're pushing your body way beyond where it needs to be, where it should be, and where it wants to be. So it's about reversing out, getting healthy, making the improvements I need to make to my physique in my off season, and then prepping again and giving it another shot. I want to close out with some thank yous as well, because this is an individual sport. There's no doubt about it. You compete individually, you're on stage individually, all of the accolades are individual accolades. But if you want to do well, you can't do it alone. You need an incredible team behind you. And you guys have seen in this season over the last few videos, the team that I've had behind me. And I think you can kind of just feel through the screen how incredible that team has been. So, you know, there's a lot of people I need to thank. First and foremost, my coaching team. Jay Tyler, the strength coach who takes care of all of my workout programming, is an incredible coach. So Jay, thank you so much. Kenny Wallish, my posing coach, you guys saw him in the previous episode taking me through my final round of posing. I mean, he was just able to just get my physique to look incredible. Best in the business, best at what he does. So thank you, Kenny. I really appreciate that. My therapist, my massage therapist, my physical therapist, Nathan Ward. You guys saw Nathan in my Day in a Life vlog a couple of months back. You know, he's the one that keeps me physically healthy, keeps me on the tracks, keeps, you know, as you get deeper into this sport, you're always battling little niggles and little injuries, and Nathan's been able to keep me physically healthy, so thank you, Nathan. Of course, Jake Nikolopoulos. I mean, you guys have seen so much of Jake in this series. I mean, he's not just my prep coach, he's my best mate. We've been friends for so long, we've got so much history together, and man, I'm so damn appreciative for everything that you've done for me, not just during this prep, but over the last 10 years as well. But let's just keep it to this prep. Everything that you've done during this prep, man, I'm super, super appreciative, so thank you so much. Of course, I'm so grateful that I got to compete, and I wouldn't have had that opportunity if it wasn't for the tireless efforts of my big brother, Tony Doherty, and everything that he does with the IFBB Pro League here in Australia. So thank you, Tony, for never giving up. Tony is one of the most relentless and has the most perseverance of anybody I've ever met. It is truly inspiring. And to have shows and then have them cancelled and then reschedule and have them cancelled and then go, you know what, we're just going to try again. We're just going to try again. We're just going to try again. So thank you, Tony. I'm forever grateful for everything that you do for the sport of bodybuilding in Australia and for me personally as well. Of course, I have to thank my team here, right, at Massive Joe's and TMJ Apparel. The last 4 to 6 weeks of prep is really, really hard, and I have incredible responsibilities as owner of these businesses, and my team stepped up, incredibly, without me asking them to do it, and really kind of took the reins of the businesses and did an exceptional job, so thank you guys. Of course, I have to thank my family, for their incredible support over my entire competing journey. Back to as a 19-year-old competing in the teenage division of my first bodybuilding competition, and now being able to make my professional debut as a men's physique athlete. Thank you guys so much for your unconditional support. My wife, Amy. You guys saw bits and pieces of Amy through this series, through my day in the life vlog. We actually prepped together this prep, and Amy did exceptionally well as well. She came home with a 2nd place in the state show, a 2nd place at nationals as well. Looked absolutely amazing, and I mean, there's absolutely no way that I could have got to this point, presented the physique I presented, juggle everything that I've got going on if it wasn't for Amy's support. So thank you, babe, I really appreciate it. And finally, the man behind the camera. He's standing behind the camera at the moment. He's telling me to hurry up and close this video out. Luke Roberts, man, thank you so much for all of the content that you produce. It's weird because I'm looking at the camera, but I should be looking at you. All of the content you produce for me personally, for the businesses as well, but in particular, I mean, this series it's been your best work yet, man. Crushed it. And you guys wouldn't have been able to experience this journey if it wasn't for Luke's wizardry behind the camera and behind the computer. So thank you, man. Really, really appreciate it. That's a wrap. Thank you guys so much for tuning in to Pro Prep Season 3. As always, I get back to each and every comment personally, so if you've got anything you want to say in the comments down below, don't hesitate, jump in there. Thank you guys for your support. I mean, we've been running this channel now for 6 months or so. We're almost up to 1,000 subscribers. You guys are getting behind all of the videos, and it just means the world to me that I'm able to share different elements of my life with you guys, get to share this journey with you guys when it comes to the competing side of my life, and you guys are enjoying it. So thank you so much for your support, and we'll see you guys in the next video.